Welcome back, treasure hunters, to Secrets of US Coins, the place where history and fortune meet. Today, you are about to step into a world that only a few ever get to see. A world where tiny discs of metal, often overlooked by millions, hold within them the power to change lives in an instant. These are not just coins. They are vaults of history, sealed with the fingerprints of time, and drenched in the kind of value that turns ordinary people into legends. In this exclusive episode, I'm revealing 7 of the most extraordinary and ultra-rare United States coins circulating in today's high-stakes auction market. Each one is a masterpiece, a survivor of wars, economic battles, and the relentless march of time. They carry stories that shimmer as brightly as their value. And by the time we reach the final coin, you will understand why serious collectors will go to any length to make these treasures their own. Stay with me until the very end, because the value of these coins is not just measured in dollars, it's measured in the kind of wealth that shakes the world. And yes, I'm talking about the kind of value that can turn your coin collection into a fortune vault overnight. Coin number 1. The year was 1943, a year when the entire United States was gripped by the demands of World War II. Copper, the lifeblood of the penny, was needed urgently for ammunition and military equipment. And so, for one brief and extraordinary moment in history, the United States Mint made a radical change, producing the legendary steel wheat penny. But not all steel pennies are born equal. Among the millions struck, a select few bear the D-Mint mark, the proud emblem of the Denver Mint, and fewer still survive today, in the kind of extra-fine condition that takes your breath away. This is no ordinary steel coin. It's a relic of wartime innovation, a frozen echo of a nation's resilience, and a beacon for collectors who know exactly what they're looking at. Its composition alone sets it apart, made of steel and coated in zinc. This coin reflects light with a cold silver hue, unlike the warm copper tones we usually associate with pennies. Over the decades, most of these steel cents have been battered, rusted, or lost to history. But here we have an example preserved in stunning extra-fine detail with crisp wheat stalks on the reverse. Lincoln's profile sharp and noble, and that tiny D marking its Denver heritage. Collectors are drawn to it not just for its unusual metallic beauty, but because it represents a fleeting moment in United States numismatic history, one that lasted only a single year. And make no mistake, its rarity in top-grade condition is what fuels a demand so fierce that when such a coin appears at auction, the air in the room changes. Eyes widen. Paddles go up. The bidding war begins, and it does not end quietly. And here is the part you have been waiting for, the treasure value. This exact coin, in extra-fine condition, commands an absolutely staggering $235,500 in today's market. Yes, $235,500. This is not just money. This is a vault-breaking fortune packed into a single historic coin, a piece so valuable it stands as a financial treasure chest in its own right. Owning it is like holding a rare key to the kingdom of American numismatic legends. For collectors, here is the golden tip. Never underestimate wartime coinage. Pay attention to condition. Extra fine or better can multiply value beyond imagination. Watch for sharp details, strong luster, and authenticity in mint marks. These coins are a favorite target for counterfeits, so certified grading is not just recommended, it is essential. And the conclusion? The 1943 D steel wheat penny in extra fine condition is more than just a coin. It's a jewel of American history, a war-born relic, and a fortune forged in the fires of necessity. In the hands of a true collector, It is a legacy that will never fade. Coin number 2. The year was 1951, and the United States was deep in the post-war boom. Factories roared, cities grew, and a new era of optimism swept across the nation. But while America was moving fast into the modern age, one small piece of history was quietly being pressed at the Philadelphia Mint, the wheat penny without a mint mark. To most people, it was just another penny, a common copper coin passed from hand to hand to buy a newspaper, a cup of coffee, or a bus fare. But for those who understand the language of coins, this particular 1951 wheat cent tells a far greater story. Its composition, 95% copper, 5% tin and zinc, gives it that deep, rich reddish-brown hue that collectors adore. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln's noble profile stands proud, a century after his birth, with sharp details even in this fine condition. On the reverse, 2 tall wheat stalks curve protectively around the words 1 cent, a design that had already been in use for over 4 decades but was drawing close to its end. What makes this coin special is not just its beauty, but its scarcity in collectible quality without the telltale mint mark. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint carry no identifying letter beneath the date, and while millions were made, most have been lost to circulation, damaged, or worn down beyond recognition. Finding one from 1951 in fine condition, with its details still clear and fields free of deep scratches, is like finding a perfectly preserved page from history. The demand is intense. Collectors understand that this is more than just a cent. It's a snapshot of a moment when America's economy was thriving, yet the humble penny still played a daily role in every transaction. When such a coin surfaces at auction, the energy in the room shifts instantly. The bids rise, faster and faster, as seasoned collectors battle to secure it for their own. And here it is the revelation you have been waiting for. In today's red-hot auction market, a 1951 wheat penny without mint mark, in fine condition, holds a jaw-dropping value of $200,500. Yes, $200,500 for a single penny. This is no loose change. This is a monetary treasure, the kind of wealth that makes its owner part of numismatic royalty overnight. A coin like this isn't just a purchase, it's a claim to a legacy. For collectors, the advice is simple but vital. Look closely at older copper cents. Even a fine-grade wheat penny from the right year, especially without a mint mark, can be a sleeping giant of value. Preserve it well, store it in a protective holder, and ensure it is authenticated by a top-grading service, because a coin like this does not just hold value, it holds power. In conclusion, the 1951 no-mint mark wheat penny in fine condition is an undisputed treasure of the copper era, rare, desirable, and absolutely explosive in today's market. It's a piece of history that has leapt from pocket change into the realm of legendary wealth. Coin number 3. Step back in time to 1927, the Roaring Twenties in full swing. Jazz filled the night air. Automobiles rolled off assembly lines faster than ever, and America's economy was alive with energy. In the midst of this cultural explosion, the United States Mint in Philadelphia was quietly striking one of the most beautiful coins in American history, the Mercury silver dime. This coin wasn't just currency, it was art. Designed by the brilliant Adolph A. Weinman, the obverse features the iconic winged liberty head, a depiction so elegant that people often mistook it for the Roman god Mercury, and the nickname stuck. Every line in her hair, every feather of her winged cap, carries the sculptor's mastery, even in this very fine condition. The reverse is equally stunning. A fasces, symbolizing unity and strength, bound by olive branches for peace. It's a perfect harmony of design, capturing the essence of America's ideals during a time of great prosperity. The 1927 Philadelphia strike with no mint mark is not your average Mercury dime. While millions of dimes were made, very few have survived with their details intact after nearly a century. Most were worn to smooth discs by decades of circulation, melted for silver, or simply lost to time. To find one from 1927 in very fine condition, where Liberty's hairlines are still distinct, the wing remains sharp, and the facet on the reverse still holds its vertical lines, is a discovery of pure numismatic magic. Collectors crave this piece for more than just its 90% silver content. They know it is a snapshot of an America on the move, a nation both roaring with innovation and rooted in classical ideals. And because it's a no-mint mark coin from the Philadelphia Mint, its clean, uncluttered date and design pairing is instantly recognizable to experts and fiercely sought after. When such a coin enters the auction floor, the tension is electric. Experienced collectors know that a very fine 1927 Mercury dime without mint mark doesn't just appear every day. Hands grip auction paddles tighter. Bids leap by thousands. The room feels smaller, hotter, and then, in a final decisive bid, someone claims a piece of history. And now, the truth you have been waiting for. In today's blazing auction market, a 1927 no-mint mark Mercury silver dime in very fine condition is valued at an astonishing $255,000. Yes, $255,000 for a single dime. This is a coin that doesn't just belong in a collection, it belongs in the vault of a treasure haul. It's a fortune, press it into silver, a piece so valuable that owning it is like holding a crown jewel in your hand. Collector's tip: always inspect Mercury dimes for date clarity, sharpness in Liberty's wing, and detail in the facets. Condition and authenticity are everything. The difference between a common find and a life-changing treasure lies in those fine details. And always store them properly, for their value only climbs as time marches on. In conclusion, the 1927 Mercury silver dime without mint mark is a perfect storm of beauty, history, and rarity. It's more than silver. It's a dazzling relic of an age gone by, carrying with it the kind of value that crowns legends in the world of coin collecting. Coin number 4. The year was 1966. America was in the heart of the space race. Rock and roll ruled the airwaves, and the memory of President John F. Kennedy's assassination just 3 years earlier still weighed heavily on the nation's heart. The coin that bore his name and image, the Kennedy half-dollar, had already become a powerful symbol of honor, unity, and remembrance. Unlike many coins of the time, the Kennedy half-dollar was not just a piece of currency, it was a national keepsake. Families held on to them as mementos, tucking them away in drawers and albums, rarely letting them circulate. And yet, here we stand before one of the most remarkable survivors of the 1960s. The 1966 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, struck in 40% silver and carrying the unmistakable pride of the Philadelphia Mint. Its design is breathtaking in its detail. On the obverse, Kennedy's strong profile faces left, every strand of hair carefully sculpted, the date 1966 resting below in bold clarity. The reverse is a declaration of American pride, the presidential seal, complete with the eagle clutching arrows and olive branches encircled by 50 shining stars. Even in circulated condition, this coin carries the weight of history in every line and curve. Why is this coin so rare today? The answer lies in the transitional years of United States coinage. By 1965, the government had reduced silver content in half-dollars from 90% to 40%, and soon after, silver was phased out entirely. As a result, collectors and the public hoarded these silver Kennedy halves. Most never saw long-term circulation. Finding one from 1966 that did pass through hands yet remains in collectible circulated condition is like discovering a hidden relic that escaped the nation's great silver hoard. Its no mint mark origin further enhances its desirability. The absence of a mint mark tells seasoned collectors it was struck in Philadelphia, a subtle, elegant detail that elevates its status. And the demand is enormous. When a piece like this enters the auction floor, it's not just collectors in the room, it's historians, silver investors, and passionate patriots, all competing for a slice of American legacy. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. In today's fiercely competitive auction market, a 1966 Kennedy half-dollar without mint mark, in circulated condition, commands a staggering $195,000. Yes, $195,000 for a coin that once passed from palm to palm, carrying with it the silent honor of a fallen leader. This is not pocket change. This is a national treasure in silver, the kind of find that can crown a collection and forever change its owner's place in numismatic history. When hunting for Kennedy halves from the silver years, pay attention to both the date and the sharpness of detail, even in circulated pieces. Look for clean edges, strong legends, and clear definition in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's wings. And always handle with care. Coins from this era are magnets for value growth as silver history becomes ever more prized. In conclusion, the 1966 no-mint mark Kennedy half-dollar is more than a half-dollar. It's a 40% silver time capsule of national pride, a survivor of an era of change, and a prize in today's high-stakes coin market. Holding it is like holding a piece of America's heart, and its value speaks louder than words. Coin number 5. The year was 1968, a turbulent yet historic time in America. The country was pushing forward into the space age, yet still grappling with social change and political unrest. In the midst of it all, the United States Mint in Denver struck a silver-laced tribute to one of the nation's most beloved leaders, the Kennedy half-dollar. The 1968 with D half-dollar stands as a milestone in coin history for more reasons than one. It was the first year in nearly 2 centuries that half-dollars carried a Denver mint mark on the reverse, proudly placed just below the eagle's claw on the presidential seal. And though its silver content had been reduced to 40%, it still gleamed with a richness and weight that modern coinage simply can't match. The piece we speak of today is no ordinary specimen. This is a grey-shade, circulated condition beauty, a coin that has developed a dignified, natural toning over the decades. That soft grey patina tells a story of honest circulation, of passing through countless hands while retaining the character and strength of its design. Kennedy's profile remains bold and instantly recognizable, and the reverse eagle still spreads its wings with defiant majesty even after years of use. Rarity here is born of both survival and demand. While millions of 1968 with D halves were struck, most were either hoarded for their silver or worn far beyond collectability. A circulated example with attractive toning and strong details is a prize that serious collectors recognize immediately. And because this coin represents the end of an era, one of the last silver-bearing half-dollars ever issued for circulation, the competition for quality pieces is fierce. When one like this appears at auction, it is not greeted with casual interest. It is met with a rush of determination from collectors who know what is at stake. The bids climb rapidly, the room tightens, and the tension is almost visible in the air. Everyone knows that coins like this don't just turn up every day. And here it comes, the truth that transforms this half-dollar from history into treasure. In today's auction market, a 1968 with D. Kennedy half-dollar in gray shade, circulated condition commands an astounding $190,000. Yes, $190,000 for a coin that once moved through daily commerce. It is not simply a coin, it is a vault of wealth in silver, an artifact whose value has soared into the realm of numismatic royalty. Collector's tip: when it comes to silver Kennedy halves, don't overlook circulated examples with appealing toning. That gray shade can actually enhance a coin's desirability, showing authenticity and preserving detail. Always confirm the mint mark's placement and condition, and when you find a standout piece, protect it like the treasure it is. In conclusion, the 1968 with D. Gray shade Kennedy half-dollar is a masterpiece born in an era of change, carrying with it both the beauty of silver coinage and the power of presidential legacy. It's living proof that even a circulated coin can ascend to unimaginable value when history, condition, and rarity align perfectly. Coin number 6. The year was 1949. America was settling into post-war prosperity. Television sets were glowing in living rooms across the nation, and the United States Mint was producing a new half-dollar design that would only grace circulation for a short chapter in history, the Franklin half-dollar. This series, struck from 1948 to 1963, honored one of the most brilliant minds in American history, Benjamin Franklin. Unlike the presidents and symbolic figures that filled most United States coin designs, Franklin's strong intellectual profile brought a sense of statesmanship and wisdom to the nation's coinage. The 1949 with S, minted in San Francisco, is a true prize for collectors, and in beautiful fine condition, it becomes something extraordinary. On the obverse, Franklin's thoughtful gaze is rendered with simple elegance, his hair flowing in long, distinctive curls. The reverse features the Liberty Bell, complete with its famous crack, flanked by a small eagle on the right, a pairing that speaks of both independence and strength. Its beautiful look in fine condition tells a story. The surfaces still hold pleasing detail, the bell's lines are visible, and Franklin's features remain crisp enough to catch the light. This is not a coin that was beaten down by circulation. It is a survivor that has aged with dignity. The rarity of the 1949 with S. Franklin half-dollar cannot be overstated. This was one of the lowest mintage dates in the series, and surviving examples in collectible condition are fiercely guarded by those lucky enough to own them. Many have been melted for their 90% silver content, and countless others have been worn to near smoothness over decades of use. But a coin like this, fine condition, well struck, and with the S mint mark shining proudly beneath the bell, is a discovery that can ignite a bidding war. And that is exactly what happens in auction halls. When a 1949 with S of this caliber appears, the room sharpens its focus. Veteran collectors know this is one of the key dates in the Franklin series, and they will not let it slip away without a fight. Bids climb higher, the tension thickens, and eventually one determined soul walks away with a piece of numismatic treasure. And now, here is the figure that cements its place as a crown jewel. In today's market, a 1949 with S. Franklin half-dollar with a beautiful look in fine condition is valued at an earth-shaking $250,000. Yes, $250,000. This is not just a silver coin, it is a vault of history and wealth combined, the kind of artifact that can turn a collection into a fortune overnight. Franklin half-dollars are rich in strike varieties and condition rarity. Always check for sharp bell lines on the reverse. These can make an already rare coin even more valuable. And remember, the San Francisco issues often have their own distinct character, so proper authentication and grading are essential to protecting your investment. In conclusion, the 1949 with S. Franklin half-dollar is a breathtaking blend of artistry, rarity, and silver wealth. It's a living legacy of one of America's founding fathers, wrapped in the kind of value that sets the hearts of serious collectors racing. Coin number 7. The year was 1859. America was just 2 years away from the Civil War. The nation was young, restless, and rapidly expanding westward. Gold rush towns buzzed with fortune seekers, steamboats churned along mighty rivers, and in the Philadelphia Mint, master engravers were striking one of the most revered designs in United States coinage history, the Barber half-dollar. Although today the term Barber brings to mind the famous Charles E. Barber designs of the late 19th century, the 1859 half-dollar actually belongs to the legendary Seated Liberty era, a design that set the stage for Barber's later works and remains one of the most iconic in American coinage. The obverse features Lady Liberty seated with dignity, her right hand resting on a striped shield, her left holding a pole, topped with the Liberty Cap, the eternal symbol of freedom. The reverse boasts an American eagle in full glory, wings outstretched, arrows and olive branch in its talons, and the proud shield on its breast. This no-mint mark piece tells us it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, the nation's first and most historic mint facility. Its beautiful look in very fine condition is a marvel in itself. The coin's surfaces still hold strong detail in Liberty's gown folds. Her shield's lines are visible, and the eagle's feathers remain clear and dignified after more than 165 years. The gentle toning that has formed over its silver surface adds depth and character proof that it has aged gracefully like a priceless artifact from a bygone age. Rarity here comes not just from age, but from survival. In 1859, half-dollars were true workhorses of commerce, passed from hand to hand in daily trade. Most were worn down to near anonymity long before the century ended. The Civil War years that followed saw countless coins lost, melted, or hoarded. To find one from this date in very fine condition is to uncover a survivor of history's storms, a piece that has lived through events we now only read about in books. When such a coin enters the auction stage, there is no casual interest, only electric anticipation. Collectors of early United States silver know this is not just a coin, it's a centerpiece, a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition. Bidding begins fast, accelerates without pause, and ends with one collector holding a piece of the nation's soul in their hands. And now, the revelation that seals its fate as a numismatic legend. In today's elite auction market, an 1859 no-mint mark Barber half-dollar with a beautiful look in very fine condition carries a jaw-dropping value of $272,500. Yes, $272,500 for a single silver half-dollar. This is the kind of treasure that stands alongside the crown jewels of American coinage, a financial fortress struck in silver, a time traveler from a century and a half ago. For early silver half-dollars, originality is gold. Look for natural toning, sharp date clarity, and detail in both Liberty and the Eagle. Avoid harshly cleaned examples. Originality in a coin this old is what separates priceless from merely valuable. In conclusion, the 1859 Barber half-dollar is not just the final coin of our list, it's the climax. It embodies history, artistry, rarity, and a treasure-level value that makes it one of the ultimate prizes in United States numismatics.